3 players now remaining at the PokerHeaven.com Fast and Furious Challenge. If we look at our leaderboard, we will see that Paul Sandals from Team Poker Heaven has increased his lead. He has over half the chips on the table. Ian Hope and Richard Herbert, they are very much playing catch-up here, Roy the Boy. Can they do it?
Anything's possible. Paul Sandals has picked up the aces. Ian Hope has picked them up twice, and really, they've been decisive hands, haven't they? Paul Sandals, of course, eliminated. Jules Adamson has crippled Richard Herbert. It looks a 2-horse race, and we've only played 37 hands.
Well, 3-horse race or 2-horse race. I know your luck with the nags, Roy, so I'm not riding off Richard Herbert just yet. He's got the button. He will be first to move, and he has found suited connectors.
And I think he's going to move with them. And Paul Sandals picks up another monster.
Raised to 800.
With someone raising into him. Announces all in immediately.
Pass.
Can Richard get away from this?
Pass.
He can. He had just enough chips. He's down below 4,000.
He's nearer 3,000. But let's just consider the average stack is 8,000. A double through would do him nicely. It would be very dangerous then.
I used to be a webmaster, designed some sites for some poker players, some poker businesses, and basically that's what got me into poker. It's the first time I've ever played a 4-seater tournament, so I guess we'll see how it goes. I don't want to say too much, but I think you'll see a lot of action.
And who will be the hero on the countdown to 0? It's not looking like Richard Herbert right now.
Pass.
Well, Ian Hope, he has got ace-queen. He's hoping for a bet here from Paul Sandals with the suited connectors.
Call.
And could this flop make a big difference? Nothing there for the 4-5.
It's not the worst flop for an ace-queen. A king would slot in beautifully, obviously.
Okay.
An ace or queen, you would imagine, would be good, as it is. Ace-high is good right now.
3,000.
3,000!
Ian Hope, he doesn't do small bets.
Well, let's not forget he raised pre-flop, so it was sizable at the outset.
Pass.
Those big bets can look like an attempt to steal a pot, but with only a 5 high, he wasn't going to get any custom from Paul Sandals. The button is with chip leader Paul Sandals. He's gone rather quiet recently, perhaps hoping one of these guys would get knocked out, do the work for him.
Pass.
He doesn't like 9-7 suited.
Well, he should really be
Call.
kicking this one home now, Paul Sandals. He's got the chips, he's got position there with the button. But as it is, he's playing very
No
passive
raise.
poker.
Well, we have 2 players going to see a flop. It's Ian Hope against Richard Herbert. Richard has a king at the moment. He also has a 4.
I think he'll move in
Check.
here. Pair's good.
400.
Well, he throws out a feel about it.
Raise to 8.
Raised 400 more.
A
8
minimum
total.
raise by Ian
Called.
Hope.
And an immediate call from Richard Herbert.
Well, Richard Herbert's very short stacked. He's got a lot invested in his pot now.
Perhaps he should have gone all in there. Another diamond. Well, he does have the
Check.
king of
Surely,
diamonds.
yeah,
All
Richard
in.
moves in here. He's got some more outs now with the flush draw. Not that he wasn't already winning.
1,800 total.
And Ian Hope made an attempt to bluff at this pot with the minimum re-raise. It didn't work. And that is some welcome relief, some fresh oxygen for Richard Herbert.
The button is on our chip leader, Mr. Paul Sandals, the web designer from Leicestershire. He'll be first to act. In the Fast and Furious format, you really don't get a moment to breathe.
Pass.
He's been so tame and timid.
Raised
Just
to
recently.
1,200 total.
This guy hasn't, Ian Hope.
Well,
Found an ace, taken off with it.
He's raised with it. And a king 7 for Richard Herbert. He's behind. Does he know it?
Owen.
Re-raised.
He's gone all in, and with an ace. Surely the amateur boxer from Essex is going to thump him with his chips.
Well, these are the 2 short stacks at it. This is vital for both of these players.
5 seconds.
The clock ticking down.
2,500
Only 3
more.
seconds. 2. He's passed them. Well played, Richard Herbert. Took on the tough guy and took him to the cleaners.
I think that could be a pivotal hand, an outcome of this tournament. Paul Sandals has not impressed since we become short-handed. Richard Herbert has been short stacked and probably thinks he's free rolling, and he's starting to play with a fearless aggression that often pays and prevails.
Cards out there, and this time it is Ian Hope to act first. Once again, he is rewarded with a rag ace. This time he runs away from it on the button, throwing an ace.
That's called once bitten, twice shy. And this is why you can see now it's all about confidence, this game, and the most confident player at the table now is Richard Herbert.
Yeah, he has played the short stack a lot better than he played it when he had lots of chips. Will he get anything from this flop? Well, it's a pair of twos for Paul Sandals.
400.
Not afraid to shove money in there.
Minimum bet of 400 there. Just a feeler. I've got a pair.
So, fold her all in here, Roy?
I think the all-in would be a bit rich. It's only a 1,200 pot. A re-raise of about 1,200 would have done, but it's all academic. And he shows his one pair and says, I believe that was good, sir.
Under the hot lights of the TV studio are three players battling it out, and Richard Herbert, who has the button, is very much on the comeback trail. He's been aggressive with few chips. Has he found a hand he can play here? Definitely not. 10-3 offsuit, no good to him.
Call.
A flat call with a king-7 from our chip leader against a player he knows is rattled, Roy. Would you have liked to seen a raise there?
I think so. I'm still quite surprised Richard Herbert didn't raise that with the benefit of the button. But as it is, Paul Sandals is in great shape. And that is something for both players, and this could be fireworks.
Yes, they've both made jacks and sevens, but it's Paul Sandals who has a king kicker.
Call.
It's a call. He'll want to see a turn card. What will it be? Well, nearly flipped over. It's a 6. That really changes nothing.
Check.
So Sandals still very much in front. And he stays that way.
1,000. Called. And
Ian Hope can't get away from it. And he will find that he is out-kicked. Something I'm sure that very rarely happens on the mean, tough streets of Romford, where he comes from.
They kept it relatively small, and the 6 and the 3 were non-apparent scare cards. As it works out, Paul Sandals has added some more chips to his already impressive stack.
The button is on Richard Herbert. The gutsy northerner gets out of the way.
Really surprised that all these players are not using the button to raise up with. Paul Sandals has found an ace, though.
Raise.
And Ian Hope has a pair. Well, this could be the hand you were talking about.
Wow.
It's an ace against a pair.
It's not a spot to call in, is it? Let's be honest, this is a spot to raise in. And if he raises, Paul Sandals can't call.
Raise all in.
Well, from your lips to Ian Hope's ears. And now, what does Sandals do?
Well, man-sized bet. At the end of the day, you have to ask yourself a series of questions, and one of them is, what has my opponent got? If he's got a pair, I'm in a coin flip situation at best. Sizable pair, I've only got one overcard my ace. If he's got an ace, he's got a better kicker. At the end of the day, it all adds up to a no-go for Paul Sandals.
10 seconds
Down to
act.
10 seconds. But surely there is only one decision he can make. And there it is.
Good strong play by Ian Hope, and a sensible pass by Paul Sandals.
Three players still at the PokerHeaven.com Fast and Furious Challenge table, but they are not three amigos. It is a very serious atmosphere out there, and they are making plenty of moves on each other. Cagey, cautious, and occasionally very brave. Well, cautious that time.
Raise.
And Richard Herbert,
More, 14,
with a Kojak in spades, wants to take on the chip leader, who has suited connectors, low suited connectors. We're off to the races, Roy.
Well, they're both going to be scared of the ace. They're all going to be scared of the diamonds. But at the end of the day, the 4-5 is good.
Well, two checks, and the turn card gives a straight draw to Richard Herbert. A 10 would give him a Broadway straight, and can Sandals possibly like his 4?
Well, as so often is the case, first to bet wins, and really either player should have bet on the flop. There's too many cards out there now. The ace is scary, the 3 diamonds are scary, and Paul Sandals, with the best of it, is going to have to pass.
10 seconds to act.
Yep, the time
Pass.
ticking away. But the bomb did not need to go off because Richard Herbert won that with a bet. Paul Sandals has seen his chip lead diminish, but he is still out in front. He's not going to play those cards though, and we are
Call.
down to our 2 short stacks, Ian and Richard.
Low raise.
And Ian has crept in with a miserable looking 2-3.
Well, if it had raced pre-flop, which you can't have called, and it would have been job done. As it is, he's now got the worst possible hand
Check.
you can
Check.
imagine.
Well, they both check, and we'll see a turn card. And that is good news for Richard Herbert. He won't be putting Ian Hope on a king now.
Well, Ian's going to bluff at this pot now.
Called.
Look at that for some sort of call. Oh, he has connected with a 9. My apologies.
That was a call faster than Linford Christie, holding on to a firework, and now he's made trip 9s.
It's a full house.
It is a full house.
Check.
And Ian Hope slows right down.
1000.
This could have all been so different. He only had to say raise pre-flop. He would have taken it down. As it is,
Pass.
well, he's done in half of those chips. 1,900 of those are his, and they're slaughtered with a 2-3. Why?
Blinds at 3 and 600. The buttons on Ian Hope, the ex-City trader from Essex. And that is well worth investing in.
Well, this could look like a steal.
Call.
Just a call.
Call.
He's trying to induce a raise behind him. As it is, he's got into a 3-array pot with an ace-jack.
Yeah, it's not indomitable, is it?
5, 9,
And look at
8.
that for Richard Herbert.
He's not in front anymore either. Richard
Check.
Herbert correctly checks to induce the bet.
12, did you say?
Yes.
Yeah,
Oh,
number
sorry.
5.
Suspect just a call from Richard.
Call.
It is just a call, and with a gut shot draw, Paul Sandals wants nothing to do with it.
Well, Ian Hope plums his way in with an ace-jack, and he's going to get spanked now because Richard Herbert has plumbed
Check.
it.
Now,
That is the worst possible card for Ian Hope.
Ian Hope has more chips than Richard Herbert,
24.
but he may be about to donate some.
22.
22 all in.
He's saying, I've got an ace.
It's an all-in situation.
He calls it.
It was checked to Ian Hope again, who bet. Richard Herbert moved all in, and now it's going to be cards on their backs for an 8,800 pot. Ian Hope is down to 18% of a chance, a jack or a 5 or an ace.
Jack, a 5 or an ace. And it is an ace! And that was a horrible river for Richard Herbert. He stumbles out, and I don't blame him. Way ahead going to the river. He's now eliminated.
I was mugged. I got my chips in when a good favourite, a good 70% favourite, and I got rivered. The game sucks. It's been good fun, and a lot of good banter on the table. I've enjoyed it. It was a good game. Best player got knocked out though.